The Fried Out Features Radio Hour presents the Pandemic Players production of My Client Curley by Norman Corwin. Brought to you by Pepto-Molive, the only product you will ever need. People say in every way, it's a Pepto-Molive day. My Client Curley was originally produced by the Columbia Workshop in a Norman Corwin adaptation of Lucille Fletcher Herman's short story. Any similarities to caterpillars, living or dead, is purely coincidental. My Client Curley stars George O'Hanlon Jr., Shelley Herman, Steve Carlson, Terry Miles, Greg Lawrence, Randy Carver, Jennifer Wallace, Deborah Sherino, and introducing Skylar Ingram as Stinky. This production was directed by Terry Miles and transcribed by Steve Carlson for Fried Out Features. And now, My Client Curley.
There are some things a man doesn't like to talk about because they're, well, I'll just tell this story about my client Curley, and then I'll go back to the agent business and try and forget it. But if I should get a lump in my throat while I'm trying to tell it, I hope you'll understand. Because this whole thing was so recent, I still feel pretty upset about it. To make a long story short, I'm walking one day in the city where I live, and my attention is attracted by two kids sitting on the street, and one of them's playing a harmonica. They're bent over watching something on the ground, and I, being curious, go over to see what it is. Hiya, boys. What do you got there?
We got a trained caterpillar.
Yeah. What's trained about it?
He dances.
Oh, I don't believe it.
He sure does.
Give us a nickel and we'll show ya.
Oh, a racket, huh? All right. I'm a sucker. Here's 2 nickels.
Hey, thanks, mister. Okay, play, Stinky.
Well, what do you know? Now stop. I'll be darned. Stops right when you do.
Sure. That's the way Stinky trained him, didn't you, Stinky?
Aw, it was nothing.
Play some more, Stinky. Lies right down when you finish. Ah!
Sure, he's talented, ain't he? Come on up my finger, Curly. That's a boy.
Does Curly dance to any kind of music?
Nope. Only, yes, sir, that's my baby.
You mean to tell me he dances to only one tune?
That's right. I tried lots more, but I guess he only likes that one.
Well, why is that, do you suppose?
Fella I know says he's got a real musical ear.
I guess that's what those 2 branches are on his head, huh? Musical ears.
No, that's his antenna.
Antenna? He ain't no radio set.
Look, fellas, I'll make you a proposition. How would you like to sell Curly?
How much?
Wait a minute. I own Curly, and I don't want to sell him.
Oh, why not, Stinky?
Well, just because.
Know why he doesn't want to sell?
Why?
On account of he's stuck on him.
Oh, shut up, fatso.
You mean you like Curly so much you don't want to part with him?
I just don't want to sell him, that's all. Not even for $1. Not even for $2.
Yes, well, of course, I don't think anybody'd ever offer you that much money.
I don't care. He's my pet and I want to keep him. I trained him from a pup.
Now look, kiddo, I think you're a very bright and sensitive boy. And because of that, I'm going to make you an immediate cash payment of $5 for Curly.
Hey! $5! Holy smackerels! What do you say, Stinky, huh?
Well, gosh. I don't know.
Take it! I'm telling ya! Now you can buy a bike!
Well, that sure is a lot of money, but you see, I like Curly, and I guess Curly likes me too. And when we're alone, I talk to him, and he understands me. Curly likes me around. He's very intelligent, even though he don't look so smart.
He looks smart, all right.
Fatso, my old man, and nobody else can never get him to move. He won't do nothing when they ask him. He lays down, just like on spite almost. You know, if someone took him away from me, Curly would die.
Think so?
Sure. He's only human, ain't he? He would absolutely die.
Listen to me, Stinky. I'm going to talk to you man to man. This caterpillar you got is very valuable. He's worth a lot of money. Way more than $5, maybe.
No kidding.
Now, this is what we're going to do. Stinky, you're going to stay with Curly, and I'm going to manage both of you. Curly will be my client.
What does that mean?
What's a client?
Yeah, you wouldn't understand very well. That's something I'll have to explain to your parents. Because I've got to get their signature on some long-term contracts. Mine are under the law, you see.
I didn't do anything wrong, did I?
That was how it began. I get Curly under my management and take him and Stinky with me. The first thing I do is start out after some publicity. And boy, do those reporters eat it up. Front page with pictures. Pictures of Curly and pictures of Stinky and pictures of me and pictures of my client dancing on a leaf. Curling around the mare's finger. Climbing up a pretty model's leg. Sitting in a tiny box at the opera. And headlines. Headlines like the Times.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Swing caterpillar sways to strings. Yes, sir, that's my baby. Gene Kelly of Insect World demonstrates human sense of rhythm. Extra.
The Post.
Whaling in custody of Stinky, young Svengali of caterpillars.
The Herald Tribune.
Insect phenomenon, learn to truck in truck garden, manager of heirs.
The World Telegram.
The Curly Crawl becomes the new national dance sensation.
The Daily News.
Rug cuts rug, story on page 2.
And sure enough, with all that publicity, things really begin happening. First, Gene Kelly introduces the Curly Capers at the Copacabana.
Gotta dance.
Then half a dozen agencies bid for the rights to syndicate a comic strip.
429 papers, 5 days a week, making a grand total of...
Other companies pay me royalties for Curly balloons and spaghetti and dolls and toys and picture books and decorations on the outside of drinking glasses.
Ma, buy me the glass with Curly's picture on it.
And to make a long story short, I get a vaudeville offer. The money begins to roll in. I hire an expensive suite and a secretary.
Curly Enterprises, good afternoon.
I buy Stinky a bike and new threads.
Gee, thanks!
The publicity begins to pile up. And at the height of the excitement, I get a wire from Hollywood.
$10,000 for Curly appearance in feature-length cartoon. Stop. Propose using live character for first time among cartoon characters. Stop. Appreciate immediate answer. Would like to rush story and production. Cordially, Walt Disney.
Miss Nielsen,
Yes?
take a wire to Walt Disney. Hollywood, California.
Yes, sir.
Curly price, 100,000.
Is that all?
You think I should ask for more?
I mean, is there any more to the wire? Curly Enterprises, just a moment, please. Time Magazine is on the line. Will you take it on the table phone?
Hello. Yes. Well, you see,
Curly Enterprises?
no.
Well,
I
he's
discovered him in
busy
the
on
boy's
other
possession.
line.
That's
Who?
right.
Oh, yes.
No, No.
He wanted me to tell you to order a special airmail daily shipment
Right, I keep them right
of
here.
leaves from
Stinky
Florida.
looks after most of the time.
Wait a minute, will you? Curly Enterprises,
Oh, no.
please hold.
I beg your pardon.
Curly
By all
Enterprises,
means.
please hold.
From the very first, yes.
Curly Enterprises, please hold.
That's right.
Curly Enterprises, please hold. Curly Enterprises, please
Not
hold.
yet. Probably not for another week or two. Absolutely.
Curly Enterprises,
we tried all
please
kinds of
hold.
things. No, sir. Which
Enterprises,
are you
please
referring
hold.
to? No, I don't. Huh?
Curly Enterprises, please hold. You better hire some more secretaries.
Well, things are going in great shape, and Curly is making a bundle of dough when all of a sudden I get 3 visitors I didn't figure on.
We have been reading about your wonderful specimen in the papers, and we have come to ask permission to examine it.
Examine it? What for?
We are lepidopterists.
Lepidopterists? But Curly's a caterpillar, not a leopard.
Ah, no, my dear man. Lepidoptery is a branch of etymology dealing with the insect order of which your, shall we say, client is a member.
Well, I'm sure Curly doesn't want to be examined by nobody.
Oh, come. If this caterpillar is as remarkable as the newspapers say, then you certainly owe science the courtesy of permitting an examination.
Exactly.
It would be nothing short of criminal to withhold such knowledge from science.
Well, if you want to put it that way.
It will take no more than 2 minutes.
Oh, I suppose it's all right. Come with me, please. Hello, Stinky.
Hello.
This is Master Stinky, gentlemen, discoverer and trainer of my client. He guards Curly all the time.
Hello.
Guten, mein Herren.
Well, there he is, in that box. Now, please be careful how you handle him.
Ah, here you are.
My muscular little fellow, isn't he?
Normal mandible, unusually conspicuous first maxilla.
I say, watch out there, Doctor. He's trying to bite you.
I've never been attacked by a caterpillar before. Astounding.
See here, Doctor. Just notice this remarkable elongation of the abdominal feet.
Yes, quite. And doesn't this feature make you think of the Agles antiopa?
Incredible.
Look here, isn't this remarkable? I've never seen such ocelli except in the Malangaria galatea and the tintinization up to liver.
No kidding.
Well, sir, congratulations. This is a remarkable specimen, even before we test its reaction to musical stimuli.
It is of the ordinary genus Papilio rutulus, mind you, but it has the most extraordinary features.
Yeah, thank you very much.
But we feel that this specimen would be much more valuable to society if you, instead of exhibiting it for commercial purposes, were to loan or even donate it to the Museum of Natural History, where it could be further studied by the leading entomologists of the world.
Yes, and when it dies, we can dissect it and...
No! No, they're gonna take him away! Don't let them take Curly!
Don't cry, my boy. We're not going
An
to.
insect like this occurs probably once in a million years. And surely, for the sake of a few dollars, you're not going to risk injuring him with overwork.
Are you accusing me of sacrificing Curly's health for profits? Why, that's ridiculous. Curly is... Yes, come in.
Get just got another wire from the coast. Disney raised his offer to 20,000.
20? Tell him 100 G's or nothing.
We'll be right back to the Pandemic Players production of My Client Curley on the Fright Out Features Radio Hour, but first, a word from Pepto-Olive.
When you're in the mood for a juicy steak, when you exercise and your muscles ache, when there's rust all over the garden rake, it's time for a Pepto-Olive break. When you want your hair to be nice and neat, when your engine stalls out in the street, when your kids deserve that special treat, Pepto-Olive can't be beat.
Pepto-Olive, the only product you will ever need. People say in every way it's a Pepto-Olive day.
People say in every way it's a Pepto-Olive day.
And now back to My Client Curley by Norman Corwin.
The papers get a hold of the Lepidopterist story, and there's another pile of publicity. It gets to be a moral issue, with preachers delivering sermons and the like. I'm attacked for exploiting caterpillar labor and defended as an individualist who refuses to submit to regimentation. The American Legion and the Daughters of the American Revolution send Curley an engraved silver-plated twig. The Maharaja of Lahore sends him some willow leaves from the sacred willow trees in the temple. I signed Curley up for a special movie short, So You Wanna Be a Caterpillar, and it sweeps the box office of this country in spite of terrible weather, including blizzards and rainstorms. Variety reports.
Blizz and Driz fail to fizzle biz as Bug wows B.O. from New York to L.A.
Life magazine runs a Margaret Bourke White picture of Curley on the cover with the caption, Curley. CBS does a pickup direct from Curley's box, bringing the sounds of Curley eating dinner.
This is Jack Cannell speaking to you from the headquarters of Curley Enterprises, where we have a microphone buried among willow leaves to pick up the sound of the world's leading insect danseuse, busy eating dinner after a hard day's work of exhibiting his talents to the press.
The New Yorker comes out with a cartoon showing Martha Graham nibbling willow leaves.
Hey, did you see this cartoon in the New Yorker?
Let me see. Well, what's funny about that?
Well, for heaven's sakes, don't you get the point?
No!
Well, don't you know who Martha Graham is?
Yes?
And you know who Curley is, of course.
The caterpillar.
Yeah, well, now, Jen, you see, Curley lives on willow leaves, and...
Walt Disney raises his bid to 50 grand, but I still hold out for the 100,000. Grover Wetland invites Curley to do an English country dance on the cover of the Magna Carta at the World's Fair. Forgetting Curley can dance to only one tune. Well, to make a long story short, everything's going all hunky-dory until one day some more public-spirited guys get a hold of Curley. Only this time they're not scientists, but musicians.
And therefore, in the interests of music, we of the committee feel that you would be rendering an invaluable service to musical knowledge if you would permit us to test the effect of classical music on your client.
But what good will that do anybody?
Why, it may open up an entirely new field of psychology in relation to music. The world knows very little about the musical instincts of animals and nothing at all about insects. And now...
But you're wasting your time. Curley dances to only one tune.
Have you tried other tunes?
Why, sure. Tell him what you played, Stinky.
I played It Ain't Gonna Rain No More, My Country 'Tis of Thee, the beer barrel polka, Shine On Harvest Moon, the music goes round and...
but no classical music.
Well, sure we did. I myself played A Sweet Mystery of Life by Victor Herbert.
That is hardly classical music. You haven't tried any symphonies, have you?
Disney's trying to get us for a silly symphony right now. His latest offer...
No, I'm afraid you don't understand. Let me explain what we propose to do. We get Curley in a studio with an orchestra and go through a careful series of tests using selected symphonic music of dance-like tempi. And now, by the choice of representative works, we can quickly establish...
All right. I know you're tired, gentlemen. We've now been through 67 pieces already, but let's try a few more and then we'll quit until tomorrow. So far, the caterpillar hasn't budged once, but maybe we'll get him on this particularly catchy tune from the three-cornered hat of Defaya. Stop. All right. Try number 69, Rosamunde Ballet. Stop. Next, number 70, Strauss Perpetuum Mobile.
For 2.5 days this went on. And finally, after the 202nd try, something happened that really made the paper sit up and take notice all over again. The Amalgamated Press next day carried this story.
Curley, the Terpsichorean caterpillar, today staggered scientists and musicians when he suddenly went into a stately dance upon hearing the second movement of Beethoven's 8th Symphony. The movement, marked Allegretto Scherzando, was the 203rd musical sampling performed in an effort to determine whether the super caterpillar could or would dance to anything besides the song Yes Sir, That's My Baby. The insect further astonished observers by dancing in a contrapunctual manner to an arrangement of melodies from both the song and the movement. Scientists are unable to explain the phenomena. The management of the caterpillar announced meanwhile that Curley will appear as a lead to a ballet entitled Extravaganza for Insects Only by William Saroyan, and that Curley will also be seen soon at a dance recital at Carnegie Hall.
Well, things really begin to break for us. Mrs. Roosevelt writes about it in her column, My Day.
It is not often that a creature smaller than one's little finger can completely captivate the imagination of millions. Yet such is the remarkable truth about the caterpillar named Curley. And only today I was telling the president that it has been many years since the country has become so interested in...
There's talk among stamp collectors of issuing a special Curley stamp.
And since the Curley stamp would be the only insect subject in existence, its value to philately would naturally assume prodigious proportions.
Scientific societies offer to investigate Curley's genius. And would you believe that the annual convention of the American Lepidopterological and Entomological Academy even invites Stinky to lecture before it?
So I says to my mother, Ma, can I have a penny? I want to buy a piece of candy. So my mother says yes, so she gives me the penny. So on my way to the store, I see a caterpillar, crossing the road.
And all this time, the money keeps coming in. We're getting along fine. Although it costs a lot to keep up my expensive offices and staff of secretaries, but I'm figuring on getting the big dough, the $100,000 from Disney, and then retiring. Well, to make a long story short, there's a couple of exchanges of telegrams and phone calls with me holding out for my price. And then one night, Disney wires.
We'll meet your price of $100,000. Please fly out with Curley next plane.
Wow! Am I excited? I rush into the next room where Stinky and Curly are sleeping. Stinky! Wake up! We're rich! We're practically millionaires!
What's the matter?
Get your clothes on. Hurry! You're gonna take a long airplane ride with me and Curly. And boy, I'm gonna buy Curly the juiciest willow leaf he ever ate in his life. Here you are, little fella. Here you... Where is he? Why isn't he in his box? Where's Curly? Curly!
I put him to bed, all right. Ain't he in his box?
Quick! Look around the room. Under the carpet. Under the bed. On the walls. Everywhere. And be careful where you walk.
Curly! Come back! Curly! Where are you, Curly?
Curly! Curly! Listen. Yes, sir. That's my baby. No, sir. I know being baby. Curly! Yes, sir. That's my baby. Now, I love you. Where are you?
Curly! Don't leave us!
$100,000, Curly! Sir, that's my baby. Here, Stinky. Take this flashlight and look for him along the corridor and ask the manager to let you look at the bottom of the elevator shaft. Meanwhile, I'll phone the police. Operator! Get me police headquarters.
Calling all cars. Calling all cars. Be on the lookout for dancing caterpillar. Be on the lookout for a dancing caterpillar. 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 That is all.
Flash, the Federal Bureau of Investigation will neither deny or confirm rumors that Curly, a $100,000 caterpillar, has been kidnapped. G-men are investigating closely.
Ladies and gentlemen, whenever you hear the song, Yes, Sir, That's My Baby, will you please watch very carefully wherever you may be for a dancing caterpillar in your vicinity. This announcement is in reference.
The whole country searches in vain. Nobody's seen Curly. The police organize a dragnet. Posses are formed. Radio stations play Yes, Sir, That's My Baby at intervals throughout the day and ask all listeners to be on the lookout for a dancing caterpillar. Curly fans from all over send in money for a Find Curly Fund.
I am privileged as president of the Find Curly Club to announce to the members that the Find Curly Fund has reached the impressive and staggering total of $12,385.14, with the entire South yet to be heard from. And yes, I'm positive that every mother's son of you, yes, and every father's daughter will pledge his heart and his hand to the one main and permanent objective, that Curly be found!
But nobody finds Curly. Now that he's gone, I begin to realize how much I love that buck. I begin to understand why it was Stinky couldn't bear to sell him to me. Way back in those happy days. I can't bear thinking of willow leaves. I find myself hating all birds. and looking suspiciously at cats. And I take to drinking.
What will it be for you, son?
A triple zombie.
Are you sure you...
A triple zombie. And even Stinky tries to drink his way out of his grief.
And what will it be for you, young man?
A cup of coffee. And make it black.
Are you sure you want...
Black coffee!
Yes, sir.
Meanwhile, sympathizers from all over the world, including Scandinavian countries, send me caterpillars, hoping maybe they found Curly and are eligible for the reward offered by the Find Curly Fund.
Hey, mister, here's another barrel of caterpillars from Australia. Where should I put it?
Give it to the zoo.
Which zoo, mister?
Any zoo. Any zoo. As long as you get it out of here.
Okay, mister.
Days go by. Weeks go by. I send Stinky home.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Stinky. Well, at least you got a nice suit of clothes on you and a fine automobile and a chauffeur to drive you home in.
I would rather have Curly back again.
Yeah, I know. Well, goodbye.
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 And then one day I'm sitting in my place, playing sadly on the piano with one finger, as is my wont. And all of a sudden, out from under the music rack creeps Curly! Only he's changed. He's different. Oh, he's not dancing anymore. He's a butterfly. Curly! Hello, Curly. Oh, you're a big boy now, ain't you? He flutters his wings a little when I say that. I stroke his antenna, which are now very long and beautiful. I see he's getting restless for the outdoors, where he no doubt hears the call of his mate. So I sing farewell to him. Yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean baby. Yes, sir, that's my baby now. He flies around my head and then flies over to a picture of Stinky on the bureau and flutters back to me. And after a long look at me, he flies out of the window, never to come back. To make a long story short, I sit down and I feel like crying. In fact, I do cry. Yes, who would ever think that a grown man would ever cry about a caterpillar? But I did, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Well, that's the story of my client, Curly.
You've been listening to the Pandemic Players production of My Client Curly on the Fried Out Features Radio Hour. My Client Curly was written by Norman Corwin, starring George O'Hanlon Jr., Shelley Herman, Steve Carlson, Terry Miles, Greg Lawrence, Randy Carver, Jennifer Wallace, Deborah Sherino, and introducing Skylar Ingram. The show was directed by Terry Miles and transcribed by Steve Carlson for Fried Out Features. Brought to you by Pepto-Olive, the only product you will ever need. People say in every way it's a Pepto-Olive day. This is your announcer, George Spelvin. Good night.